Hello everyone and welcome to the Martian Kitchen. Now today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to do a vlog for you guys because on Twitter I did a poll and the poll asked the question, do you think that the first Martians should be vegan? I had a pretty good response to this poll with 56 people having a vote. The options were yes, no, and it's their choice. There was 23 people who voted yes, 29% of people who voted no, and 48% of people that said it should be the Martian's choice. So I voted yes because to me, I don't think that the first Martians actually will get a choice whether they want to be vegan or not, because to get to Mars, weight is a really important factor. So if you can save weight by not having to send meat and by sending other plant-based products instead, that's going to be a good bet. They're going to do that because that's going to save money and it's going to save rocket fuel. The other thing to be aware of is that when you're sending people to Mars to live there long term, like to colonize Mars, you're going to have to set up food systems. And so again, weight comes into it. You can't really send a whole pig or a whole cow with you on the journey that's going to take 6, 7, 8, 9 months to get there. And then when you get there, you have all this weight of that cow and that pig that you now need to feed as well. And it's not like Mars is a great place to live. It's a hostile environment. Everything on that planet is trying to kill you. So it's kind of like Australia, I guess. But anyway, it's cold and it's pretty devoid of resources. Yeah, there's water around. You just have to mine it out of the soil or go and dig it up from the polar ice caps. So water is going to be an issue. Power is going to be an issue. You're going to have solar panels to power your Martian colony, or you're going to have to use nuclear-based power. And so you want to be as efficient with those resources as possible. So if you had a choice between spending resources on growing a cow or spending resources on growing lots more fruit or vegetables that you could eat, I mean, I know what I would choose. And in fact, that's kind of why I started on my vegetarian journey. I've been a vegetarian now for about 2 years. And although I do slip up sometimes, the main reason for me doing that was to kind of prove to myself that I could take out animal products from my diet, except from cheese, because I love cheese. But to take out most animal products from my diet to kind of prep me for my journey to Mars, because I probably haven't mentioned this before, but I would like to be a Martian astronaut. And in fact, I've done some research. I did a research study on what kind of atmospheres you'd want to put in a Martian greenhouse to be able to make the plants grow, but by using as little resources and as many of the Martian resources as possible, so you don't have to send as much stuff from Earth. But that leads me to my next point, which is when things need lots of resources, you kind of need to balance what things you're going to grow and what things you're not. So I looked up some numbers on comparing how much water meat-based products need as compared to growing plants. So I got my numbers, some of them from The Guardian, and the water needed to grow 1 kilogram of beef is 15,415 liters of water for 1 kilogram of beef. And in that kilogram of beef, you don't even eat all of it because some of it is that tough, gristly stuff that people throw away, or like bones and stuff. So that's a lot of water. 1 kilogram of chicken meat, just specifically the meat, not the bones and stuff, is 4,325 liters of water. 4,325 liters of water for 1 kilogram of chicken meat. You're not going to see me lugging my pickaxe to and from the polar ice caps of Mars just so I can grow some chicken. But when it comes to potatoes, the numbers are much better. So 1 kilogram of potatoes. Mark Watney was doing the right thing here, guys, because 1 kilogram of potatoes takes 287 liters of water. Significantly less. But wait, it gets better, because if you're like me and like to eat crickets, which I've been touting in some of these videos as the new superfood, the new protein-packed, change the world, #sustainable savior of our planet. 1 kilogram of crickets needs 8 liters of water. Just 8 liters. So kind of feel like I should learn how to grow crickets now so that I can grow them when I get to Mars. But hey, I get it. Not everybody wants to eat crickets or mealworms or other kinds of insects. There's that gross factor, and I did learn recently in my last video that you can hide insects in baked goods and you probably can't tell. So, you know, there's that. But let me know if you would try crickets, if they were hidden or if they weren't hidden, and whether you would include them in your diet. And I think I asked the vegan community in my last video whether they would treat crickets as part of their diet or whether they would not eat them for various health or ethical reasons. So let me know. The other thing I wanted to talk about is a kind of meat alternative that people sometimes bring up as an alternative for ethical reasons to not grow animals, and that's lab-based meat products. So that's taking the cells from an animal, whether that's muscle cells or fat cells, and growing them in the lab to create a meat product, which is meat, but has not resulted in the death of an animal. I'm going to get to that in a second. So, lab-grown meat first started quite a few years ago. In fact, when I was just starting university in like 2011, 2012, it's kind of started to become a thing in mainstream media as like this brand new wave of world-changing technology, but it kind of wasn't at the point where you and I could go and grab a burger from it. Like one burger patty cost like $100,000 to make, those kind of numbers. But as the years have gone on, that tech's progressed and gotten better and better, and the prices come down and down and down. So is that our next savior? Is lab-grown cells something that we could do on Mars to grow animal-based products without having to grow the whole animal and save resources and all that kind of stuff that goes along with that? I mean, it would need a lot of tech, a lot of machinery and lab-based equipment that we'd have to ship to Mars in the first place, but maybe that would pay off in the long run. So the problem here is an ingredient called fetal bovine serum. Let's break this down into each word. So fetal, meaning the fetus of an animal. Bovine, which means cow. And serum, like the serum that is associated with blood. So basically, baby cow blood. Probably should have put a kind of spoiler warning in here for graphic descriptions. So spoiler warning, if blood and stuff is something that you don't want to listen to or kind of freaks you out, maybe pause the video and skip ahead for about a minute or two. Cool. Glad we got that out of the way. So, baby cow blood, or fetal bovine serum, is incredibly nutritious. It has all the kind of growth factors and chemicals and nutrients that a baby cow would need to be able to grow while in the uterus of its mother. And it turns out that all of those nutrients and everything are also very good at helping other cells grow when not in a uterus. So the majority, not all, but the majority of cell culture technology grows their cells in nutrient mixtures that contain fetal bovine serum because it makes it a lot easier to grow the cells. So that means that the nutrients that these cells are growing on have been taken from an animal that is no longer alive because of this process. So, graphic spoiler warning again, the way they get the fetal bovine serum is that they take pregnant cows and they stick needles into the fetus, usually the heart of the fetus, and extract the blood. And it has to be done in a completely sterile environment, so that's why the needle goes directly into the fetus and takes out that blood, and that blood is shipped to places where they sterilize it further and take out just the components and the nutrients that they need, that serum part, the fetal bovine serum. And that's shipped to laboratories all around the world. So, animals do die in the production of most, maybe not all, lab-grown cell-based meat. So, there's that. So, I guess this leads me to the reason why I created the Martian Kitchen in the first place. It was kind of all about creating conversations and learning from different communities to work together to come up with food solutions that would work on Mars. So the science and tech community have that great technology of growing cells outside the body, but then there are other components that come into it. And then the vegan community has these great creative uses and ideas about ingredients that I'd never thought of before. Like, it's thanks to watching other vegan recipe videos that I learned about flaxseed and how you can use that to replace eggs. And if you'd like an example of that, check out my last video on the cricket mug muffin. So I'm all about creating conversations about different ways that we can use ingredients, different ways that we can take simple ingredients and few ingredients and turn them into something different, something that is creative and entices the senses, so that we can look at something that we're used to, we see in our everyday life, like a potato, and work out how we can turn that into something that you might not have seen before or that everyone can have a chance to eat. And that's important because I think as time goes on, we're going to have to get more creative with the food that we have, especially in space and especially on Mars, because there are just way too many mouths to feed in this world, and that's only getting a bigger and bigger number. So we have to be more creative. If we have to eat the same kind of things all the time, scientific research shows that you get less bored of eating the same thing if you can find different ways to play around with it, different ways to present it on the plate, and having different textures even with the same kind of foods. So there's scientific research in that as well. I've also learned about brand new sweeteners like the plant stevia, which is a plant with leaves that contains these kind of sugar sweet tasting compounds that bind to our tongue, and yet they're not sugar. So all these kind of new cool ingredients and things to try. And you know what? I'd love to learn more. So if you know of a really cool ingredient or method of cooking that I should try, let me know in the comments below, or tweet at me. I'm on social media as @Martian Kitchen on Twitter. So yeah, follow me on social, leave comments, join in my conversation, and let's get creative about food that could help make humanity a multi-planet species, or help people here on Earth to try new things and learn from different perspectives. So with that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Follow us on social, subscribe to the Martian Kitchen. Make sure you click the bell icon to be notified when new videos are coming up. And until next time, see you later. Bye-bye.